Yeah, you know, I don't have a crush, okay? I have a girlfriend.
Oh, okay. Oh, uh, it's a good girl. She's Catholic.
Say Jesus for me.
Hey, Dad, guess what?
Hey, buddy, what's up?
I have a girlfriend.
Hey, same here. High five.
Oh, yeah, awesome. Good for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, today we have with us the wonderful writer and director of a amazing new film premiering at Tribeca 2025, Chris Merola. Chris, say hello.
Hey, what's up?
Dude, this movie's absolutely fantastic. I have to tell you, I loved it.
Oh, shit, thank you, man. That's super nice of you. Thank you.
So I've been where John is. I'm obviously a little bit older than John, so for me, it wasn't the Wii, it was the N64.
Oh, okay, tight.
And, there's a crisis of conflict because, growing up, I grew up Hispanic and then Irish Catholic on my mom's side. So it was a constant barrage of Catholicism and everything you're doing is the wrong thing. And so I understand John's plight here. So, and his want to rebel. How much of you is in that character?
Oh, dude, I would say a lot. Yeah, I really identify with John. You know, I'm of course a child of divorce, a gamer, went to Catholic high school growing up. Had a very devout mom. Had a first love experience and felt a lot of guilt over being, sexually active and what that meant about my relationship to the faith, and also what that meant if my mom was going to, still love me if she knew I was, betraying all of her morals essentially. Yeah, so I would say, God, John's really, really close to my heart. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I was lucky enough that my parents didn't really care. It was more my grandparents.
That's tight, dude. Amen to that.
Yeah, amen indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things I didn't have to that I didn't have to navigate. So I felt for John a lot as a young man growing up. It's a very difficult thing. I wanted to ask you, when you're casting leads and you're casting some people so young, where do you find them? Obviously, we know that Jake, who plays John, was in a Wes Anderson film previously. He was excellent in that as well. How did you find your two leads, and what made them right for the parts?
So Jake, I had seen in 8th grade in 2018, and I loved him. He was like the chicken nugget boy in that movie, and he was only in 2 scenes, but he was so absolutely relatable. I felt so seen by him, and I was like, God, he's so great. And I was putting him on the pitch deck, when I was pitching it, like I really wanted him for it. We went with Rachel Goldman for casting director. This was her first lead casting director credit on a film. So I love, like, a lot of people we worked with on the film, it was their first time doing something on this scale. And that's really nice because when you give people an opportunity to do that, they work so hard. Like, you're all in the same boat. You're all trying to make a name for yourselves. And so, yeah, Rachel just hustled and got us incredible, incredible talent to try out for the Lilith character. Sky was just absolutely the most honest performer for the role. It's really just a matter of finding proper character contrast, that a lot of chemistry comes from differences between characters. So whereas John wears his heart in his sleeve and he's very honest, brutally honest, he mumbles and bumbles his way through everything, overshares, Lilith hides things. She self-mythologizes. She tells lies about herself because she wants to seem, impressive and experienced and worldly. And so those are built-in contrasts. And so all you have to do is cast characters where it's like, okay, so here's Jake, and Jake wears his, his emotions on his face. Whereas Sky, she's very good at like hiding what she's feeling, but letting just a little bit poke through the veneer. So, it was kind of just a matter of being honest to who the characters were, and then just casting people whose essential qualities were so easily mapped onto the actors.
Some of that goes on to you though, because you got those performances out of them, and especially through Sky, what you were saying about her character masking little bits of it, and you can see it coming through, and that's you as well as a director, sort of giving the right direction and saying, hey, here's the motivation for the scene, and then them being able to execute that. So I think you deserve a little bit of credit there as well.
Well, that's really nice of you to say. Honestly, dude, I would say if you set up the structure for success, you don't have to do a lot. Like, I've had harder directing gigs than this one, to be frank. Like all you have to do is make sure you have rehearsal. you keep your mind and heart open to what it is they're saying. And if they say one of your lines 3 times and it doesn't work, you just throw out the line and you give them a new line. It's really that simple. I think a lot of bad directing is actually writer directors refusing to update their scripts or refusing to listen and see what it is in front of them. Honestly, I did not have to give that many notes on set. In fact, we were under such pressure some days where some of my notes were just like, I'm so sorry, I have to give results-based direction. I need one faster, one slower, one more intense, one less intense. Please go. And then we just did it. And like we got like those takes and we moved on. So I would give them so much of the credit, like 90% of the credit, genuinely.
I love that you sort of threw a little bit of shade at R tourism because it deserves it. It can be
Hell
great,
yeah.
but it can also be sort of a a hindrance as well. So
I
like
reject
what you
auteur
said there.
theory. It is human beings need shortcuts, so one person has to speak for the film, but it's ultimately a completely collaborative effort, like completely and utterly from the top down, you know?
I couldn't agree more with you there. I wanted to ask you about this because there's a lot of video game references in there. Also, as a big Mass Effect fan, I can appreciate the bathtub scene.
Yeah, Liara, yes, absolutely,
You
yes.
know,
It's also an act of foreshadowing because women are othered so much in the film. I thought it'd be interesting that he'd be jerking off to a literal alien because that foreshadows the way that women are going to be. They're treated as aliens by the
yeah.
teachers and the school. So I thought it was both a period piece thing and also I felt symbolically apt, you know?
But also, if you know, you know.
No, yeah. Also, Liara's really hot. Like it's just like just being real. Yeah, of course.
I'm more of a Tally guy, but yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah, Tally Zor-El, you know,
Absolutely, dude.
that's Bay right there.
Yeah.
But no, I love that little tidbit. That kind of had me like laughing,
I'm
laughing
so
all the
glad.
way.
I'm so glad.
Because I was a full out like adult when that game came out, and he's a teenager at that point. Because that should tell you the age difference.
Yeah.
But I was laughing my butt off at that scene.
Dude, I'm so glad.
Yeah. Now I wanted to ask you. I always ask my guests 2 questions, and they're very very difficult, but they're also quite easy. The first one is, who are some people that you look to as motivators or as inspirations for you when you're putting out a project like this? Because this is a big time deal right here.
There's so many people that inspire me for kind of like different reasons. I would say in terms of like get up and go, I had watched a podcast with Jim Cummings where he basically was like, if you're content with like basically more or less doing everything yourself, you can make an independent film. And I really internalized that. And it's been really useful throughout the process as me and my collaborators have had to just scrape and claw our way to getting this thing done. And so that he's a very like a getting up and producing a film standpoint, he's very inspirational. From an authenticity standpoint, I've watched Charlie Kaufman's BAFTA speech like maybe 3 times a year for the past like 5 years. The fact that he talks about like take like self-shame and self-questioning off the table, because if you want to be an artist, you are the only thing you have to offer. You're the only thing you have to offer, and you have to offer something. And so anytime I felt scared to show too much of myself in the film, I leaned on that where I was like, no, the only option I have is to take a wild swing, to be myself, and people will like it, people will not, whatever. Ultimately, I think being authentic is all I have. It's literally the only card I can play. And so I would say Charlie Kaufman was a big inspiration there. And then, I would say from like performance perspective, I really like the way like Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach and Bo Burnham directed their actors and all their work. So I was from a tonal perspective of how we got the performances, I was very inspired by them. And then from just a subjectivity perspective, I would say I was kind of inspired by like the Safdie brothers, like the way they're just very tight on their characters. Like I thought it was really important to be super subjective to John's experience. So I would say those are a smattering of influences I had.
Well, I have to say you're about to be on the same YouTube channel as an interview with Jim Cummings because we interviewed him a couple years ago.
Dude, that's
Great
so
guy.
tight.
Great
He's
guy.
so sick, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then Eternal Sunshine's my favorite movie. So
Oh, dude, hell yeah. Oh god, I love that.
Charlie Kaufman is amazing. I love Charlie.
Have you read
Kaufman.
his book Ant Kind? It's so good. It might be the
No.
best thing he's ever done. It's so good. You have to read it.
If you're saying that, then because he's written some good stuff. So
Dude,
yeah,
buckle up.
I'll
It's
have to
amazing.
check that one out. That's fantastic. Now the second question is very easy, but
Yeah.
it's also very hard. You have 2 movies to watch for the rest of your life. What 2 and why?
So I'm rewatching them, is what you're saying.
You're gonna only watch these 2 for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Can't watch anything else.
I'm definitely putting Uncut Gems on there. It has immense replay value to me. And probably Monty Python, The Holy Grail. Like I freaking adore the humor on display in that film. Friendship just came out and I haven't rewatched it enough, but Tim Robinson is so funny. That could end up on the list at some point because it was absolutely incredible and it held up so well on a second watch. So, but yeah, Monty Python and Uncut Gems, I would say.
You like to be stressed out, don't you? Because
I do. I'm an anxious man, dude. Amen to that. Yeah.
Uncut Gems is stressful.
I love it. It makes
I
me
love
feel
it. I
so
love it.
seen. Yeah, yeah.
Let me ask you, if you had to pitch this movie in a 30-second elevator to people to say, "Hey, this is why you need to go see Lemonade Blessing," what would you say?
I would say it's a film that, like, within the first 2 minutes, like, realistically shows a childhood trauma and then hard cuts 10 years to the kid, like, masturbating to Mass Effect. And so, this idea of the sacred and the profane is really cool, that the film can take its juvenile, raunchy elements just as serious as its emotional, spiritual, emotion, like uplifting elements. And if you like films that jump between tones, that have wild tonal shifts, I think you'll like Lemonade. And I think a lot of people in the internet age, they fucking love films that switch between tones, you know? I think a lot of great films these days kind of switch genres very fluidly. And I think Lemonade's in conversation with those films. So if you like films that can be a lot of different things, I think you'll like Lemonade.
It's funny. I noticed. I think that's a great pitch. I noticed a lot of similarities to things like the end of the fucking world or submarine, where
Submarine
it's
was a
like,
great comp. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
there's a lot of that going on there, and I think that those are great comps because I think Richard Ayoade and the guys who run End of the Fucking World do a great job of exploring young love and young relationships through juxtaposed characters, just like you have here. And I think that what you have here is a movie that's going to resonate with audiences, and I think it's going to be the next good coming of age film that people can look at and say, "Hey, we've never had a Catholic version, Catholic coming of age movie like this. We finally have it now with Lemonade Blessing." And I got to tell you, it surprised the hell out of me. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, but you did it. You did a phenomenal job, Chris, and
Oh
you
my
deserve a lot of
God, dude.
credit.
Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much self-doubt I've gone through. So like it really means a lot, and it helps me with my own neurology to hear stuff like that. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No, no worries, man. I mean, it's funny because you say that, but everything seems so self-assured in your final cut. It all
Well, yeah.
seems that way.
Well, it's like I doubled down. I made clear decisions, but I made them insecurely, if that makes sense. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like this is the thing I want to do, but is it the right way?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It's a conflicted character
Yeah.
who's a bit of a people pleaser. So I have those strands in me. So yeah, it was hard. But dude, thank you so much. I super
No,
appreciate
yeah.
it.
We have to go, so I just wanted to let to close this up here by saying, where can people find you if they want to talk about this great movie, which does debut at the Tribeca Film Festival this year?
So we got at Lemonade Blessing, and you can also follow me at Crispy Merola. That's CRISPYMEROLA at Instagram. I post my book reviews on there. If you like books, come on down, baby. I love books. Yeah. But yeah.
I love it. I love it, guys. For sure, just make sure you check if you have a chance to be in New York City and check out Lemonade Blessing. Go to one of the screenings. There's like 4 of them. Go to one of them. It's an incredible time. It's a great film. Thank you so much, Chris, for having time for us. I hope that maybe we can talk to your cast. They haven't let us know if we can or can't, but I hope we get to talk to them soon. Have a
Dude,
great day, buddy.
absolutely. Yeah, they would be totally down. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, just let Emma know. Have a great day, bud.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man. Peace.